Welcome back, eSIM Studios podcast, live stream episode number 215. Let me hit the intro and let me go live on Instagram. Give me 1 second, folks. How's it going, Brian? Thank you for joining us today. Daniel, how's it going, sir? Appreciate it. Let me hit the intro. Let me go live on Instagram. Take 2 seconds. All right, ready? Let's do this.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIM Studios podcast, live stream episode number 215. Thank you for joining us today. Let me make sure I got the volume good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so we got a good show today. Very good show. Very busy with websites today. Got this unboxed, barely just signed into it. So I don't know how much testing I'm going to get done today. Probably going to save, probably start taking a bunch of photos and stuff probably tomorrow. I doubt I'll be able to get outside and I can take some photos inside, but wow, iOS has changed. Boy, has it changed. But I mean, it's still kind of the same iOS that I remember. It's just different. So God, I love Android. Interesting though, very interesting. I'm gonna save my thoughts because I barely just signed into it. I've been so busy today, I barely even picked it up. But 16 Pro Max, so looking forward to testing it out. Right, I can finally put to rest the comparisons. Right. I've always had to take or look at other people's pictures. Is that one clear? Is the pixel better? Or what about the video? Now I can do all the testing. So I'll finally be able to put to rest the comparisons, right? Well, we got a lot to do. I'm reaching out to all these case companies because they sent me cases. Hang on. Does anybody have a 16 Pro? Does anybody have an iPhone 16 Pro that's watching? If you do, comment. Because I was reaching out to these case companies. And I was like, I'm going to need a Pro Max case, not a Pro. If anybody has a 16 Pro, might do a giveaway for these. So let me know. Let me know, please. So we have interesting stories. So there's an interesting iPhone stealing scheme that was brought to light, and basically the intricate details of how they steal iPhones. If you've ever wondered that, right? We'll get into that, where if you order an iPhone and then you get it delivered to your home and then says delivered, you look at your front door, nothing is there, or you look in your mailbox and nothing is there. Well, that's because somebody stole it. So now I do have a way. You're going to want to pay attention. You're going to want to stay tuned. I do have a way to avoid this type of thing from happening to you. So, and it's something I always do. Always do. And I, knock on wood, have not had anything stolen. But you have to follow what I do. Very easy, but I'll let you, we'll get to that in a second. Samsung, it looks like it's official, making the switch to MediaTek CPU, which I'm ecstatic. Cannot wait. And they're actually coming out with a model that I never really liked in the past that I think I'm going to really enjoy. So that's news. Samsung, that is. And then we have the camera button. So as you know, or you may not know, iPhone, on these new iPhone 16 models, they have a dedicated camera button where if you push it, it goes right to camera, right? So it looks like the dedicated camera button is coming to Android, which I don't see why. All you do is just double press the power button and you're in the camera app. So why adding one more button that you just push one single time? It's a trend that I wish these Android companies would just let go, because just because Apple does something on their iPhone does not mean these Android manufacturers have to start doing it. We'll get into it, but one manufacturer is, and we'll get into that. And then last but not least, Comcast has a data breach, and let's jump into that. So we've had a lot, unfortunately, we've had a lot of data breaches, right? Earlier in the week we discussed the Chinese hackers that shut down Verizon networks. They also were inside the networks of their computer systems of AT&T and Verizon for months, it seems, stealing customer info, listening in on your phone calls. They got the same access that the FBI and the CIA have in these wiretaps, except the CIA and the FBI are supposed to get a warrant for those to listening to your phone calls. Chinese hackers over here, they name themselves Salt Typhoon. They don't have to go to a judge to get a signed warrant to listen to your phone calls. They can just tap into your phone and listen to whatever you say, and text. So we discussed a lot about that. I believe it was 2 or 3 days ago. You can scroll back in our video history and find the uploaded video. It's a clip that I uploaded. I break down everything, how that happened, and what you can do or not do to prevent it. But we got a new one. It seems like every day, not every day, but every couple of days, it seems like, I'll put it this way, it seems like on a weekly basis we're seeing this company getting hacked into, that company getting hacked into. MoneyGram. I just found out MoneyGram, if you've been sending money to family members outside the country, or you use MoneyGram for whatever reason, they were hacked. All customer details were leaked. Socials, bank account information, your name, your number, your address. So not good. Please stay on top of all your accounts. Please stay on top of your credit reports, whatever you choose to do. Just be very vigilant, because man, not a good thing. We'll get to that in just a second, Brian. He says, if China was that for, imagine how Israel got. Yeah, so in the world of, I guess you may not, you definitely don't know this, but I have a interest in spy stuff, right? Like CIA, all this stuff, right? Kind of like in the spy world. So I watch a lot of, I really don't watch, so on YouTube, maybe one day we'll scroll through my history, but it's a lot of like ex-CIA people that have retired that do interviews. So I watch a lot of that, and it just interests me. So Israel actually, and it involves technology, because Israel actually, Mossad, their equivalent of the CIA, actually developed the world's first. They're very, very big into phone hacking. So if you don't know, Israel actually has more malicious attacks and can do essentially better hacking, if that makes sense. To put it in layman's terms, their hacking is more intricate and more detailed and very, very targeted, even more so than China, right? Their phone hacking is the best in the world. Israel, Mossad, their equivalent to the CIA, actually developed the zero-day attack, or the zero-click attack, where in the past, a few years ago, or about 5 years ago, they developed where if they had your phone number, right? Like if they had my phone number and they wanted to hack into my phone, they would send my phone a text message, whether it be just whatever. And you would have to click. That's a one-click attack, where the user on the end, me, would have to click on a link, and that would give them access to your full phone. Now, a couple years ago, they developed the zero-click or zero-day attack, zero-click attack, where you don't have to click anything. All they have to have is your phone number. That's it. And they send your phone some sort of encrypted message, and you don't even know. So on your end, nothing. Hear my phone beeping. You won't even get a notification on your end. All they have to have is your phone number. They got you. They have access to your microphone, your front camera, your basically everything. Your apps, even your banking apps, signing into everything. They would have access, 100% full control of your device, and you wouldn't even know it's on your phone. That's the scary thing. Now, this was implemented. If you go back, you can Google it. And we'll get into Comcast in a second. You can Google it. Jeff Bezos, his phone was secretly hacked, I think a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, through Israel and Mossad's zero-click attack. And the who else was hacked? Julian Assange, I think. A bunch of, look, they're not looking for people like me or you. They're looking for Fortune 500 company CEOs, board members, bank CEOs. They're looking for celebrities, athletes, people with a lot of cryptocurrency, right? People that these crypto startups that automatically blow up overnight and they have $12 million in crypto on their phone. They're attacking your phone and they're taking your crypto. So they developed that. So I don't even know why I got into this. But anyways, let's get into Comcast. I can't make this too long of a show. Comcast and Xfinity were hacked. So if you have Xfinity, which is a MVNO of Verizon, of Comcast, got hacked. So let's pull this up real quick. So if you go to esimstudios.com, you will see the story right here. I'll link everything down below once this is done. Let me move this there we go. Okay. Comcast confirms another huge data breach. Over 230,000 users impacted. Now, to what severity? Let's find out. Comcast confirmed that a data breach at a third-party debt collection company exposed the personal information of over 237,000 customers. Yikes. Including social security numbers, names, addresses, and birth dates. That is not good. That's about as bad as it gets in a data breach. The only thing they're missing are debit card. Well, once these bad guys have your name, your social, your address, and your birth date, they don't even need your debit card, because they'll go out and get create fake accounts with your info, which is not good. The breach occurred in February. It's all the way back in February, but Comcast was only informed of it in July. The compromised data dates back to around 2021. This incident follows a previous breach that affected 35 million Xfinity customers. That's got to be the majority of their customers, highlighting ongoing vulnerabilities in Comcast data protection measures. Yikes, this is not good. In a filing to the state of Maine, Comcast notes that the total number of customers hit by the data breach was 237,000. The information was actually hacked from Financial Business and Consumer Solutions, FBCS, a debt collection company used by Comcast. The ransomware attack took place in February, and FBCS informed Comcast of the breach in July. So ransomware. So that means the hackers got inside the system, and they basically put it for ransom. So they let the network administrator know, hey, we have access to your network, and if you want us to go away and leave you alone, you got to pay us some amount of money, like 10 million, whatever it was. I don't know. It doesn't say, but that's how it works. That is a ransomware, where they're trying to extract money from the people they attack. It looks like Comcast said, go screw yourself, and did not pay, because the bad guys say, okay, well, we'll call it, if Comcast calls their bluff, these hackers are like, all right, well, then we'll just take your customer data and then go that route. So not good. If you're a Comcast customer, if you're an Xfinity customer, contact either one. If you're a customer, ask them if they know specifics, because it does not give us their total number, their subscriber base. I'm assuming it's probably a majority. No, I'm sorry. If it's only affected 237,000, that's not a majority. The one that took place a couple years ago that got 35 million people, that one probably got majority of customers. But if you are a Comcast subscriber, if you are an Xfinity user, I would get in touch with them, ask them, do they have information on whose data was stolen? Because I think they have to tell you now. They may say, well, we don't know yet, but let them know you're aware of it, and you demand them to get back to you in regards to whose information was stolen, because ultimately they should know. It might take them a little longer to figure out exactly whose information got out. They should have an idea, but even if they don't, please be vigilant on your accounts. Please be vigilant on your credit. That stuff like this happens every day. Now, let's roll into this iPhone thing real quick. What do y'all want to get to? The iPhone stealing scheme, or should we do Samsung or the camera button? Let me save that iPhone thing for the last. Let's jump into this real quick that I teased. So, Samsung and MediaTek. I think this is a growing relationship, a budding relationship that I want to see continue. I've used 3 devices with MediaTek CPUs, all 3 of them awesome, right? Now you have to know what you're getting, what you're expecting, because the MediaTek devices I've been using are not technically flagship CPUs. They're mid-range CPUs. Now, if you go into using it, it's all about expectations. If you go in knowing that, well, you should know that you're not going to get top-level performance. Now, here's the other caveat. I don't play games, so I don't have any games on my phones. But I'm a power user, right? So operating system can get bogged down if you're not using a decent CPU and a lot of RAM. Now, nothing has been using MediaTek in here with this phone 2A. Perfect example. This is technically a mid-range phone, but it's snappy, it's fast, never lagging, never buffering, never sluggish. This MediaTek chip that they have in here is pretty good. I actually really like it. So, Samsung tapped into MediaTek for their flagship CPUs on their newest Galaxy Tab S10 Plus and S10 Ultra. It looks like they're going to slowly start rolling into using MediaTek CPUs instead of their own Exynos CPUs. We've discussed numerous times on here just how bad Samsung is at manufacturing CPUs. We'll hit on it real quick. Only 20%, roughly 20% of Samsung Exynos CPUs actually make it all the way through the end of the manufacturing process. Only 20%. That means they gotta throw away 8 out of 10 CPUs they manufactured simply because they're just not good enough, right? Quality control, they test them. After they manufacture them, they test them. Make sure they're working good, make sure they can clock up to top speed. They do a bunch of testing. Power draws, everything. Samsung has been really they've hit a they're in a really bad place with manufacturing CPUs. Now, the best CPU manufacturer, TSMC, they're the complete opposite. 8 out of 10 CPUs they produce go on and are put into devices, meaning only 2 out of 10, 20% gets thrown away. So you can see how far behind Samsung is. Now, I don't have MediaTek numbers as far as as far as how many CPUs they throw away out of every 10 or what percentage moves on to the devices, but I can guarantee you this. It's a lot better than Samsung's. I can tell you that. So Samsung is going to tap into MediaTek. Now MediaTek is also cheaper. So their flagship CPU, the 9400, Dimensity 9400, is about 20% cheaper than the flagship CPUs, than the competing flagship CPUs from Snapdragon. So it's a no-brainer that Samsung go with MediaTek in place of Qualcomm Snapdragon CPUs. Qualcomm Snapdragon Qualcomm Snapdragon CPUs are made and manufactured by TSMC. TSMC also makes and manufactures the MediaTek CPUs. So you know it's going to be a quality chip. Samsung has lost hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in the last year or two in their manufacturing process. So Samsung is really, really looking to save a decent amount of money. A lot of money. So it's a no-brainer that they choose to go with MediaTek for their CPUs. Now, they're not going to put them in everything. They're not just going to go all in on MediaTek. But you know how Samsung used to do? They used to split, right? Some devices would have Exynos CPUs in whatever part of the world you're in. And the other half, they would put Snapdragon CPUs. Well, what Samsung is going to do is now it looks like they're going to put MediaTek CPUs where in markets that they were going to put Exynos CPUs, but still make and sell Samsung devices with Snapdragon CPUs where Snapdragon CPUs have been sold, like here in America. But I teased at the very beginning, it looks like they're going to make a device that I used to tell everybody not to buy. And now I think it's a device that I want to buy. So it looks like the upcoming Snapdragon it looks like the upcoming Samsung Galaxy S23 FE is going to go under some changes, some good changes. Now this is where MediaTek comes in. So the S24 FE was just released. It's their mid-range, it's their watered-down flagship version of Samsung's flagship Samsung Galaxy device. The S24 FE was just released like a week or two ago. And, you know, they already have plans for the following year that are being put in place. So next year's S25 FE is going to come with MediaTek Dimensity CPUs. They're also going to redesign it. So that's the news we got today. The next generation Samsung Galaxy Fan Edition is going to go under some noticeable changes that we can tell from the eyes and some not so noticeable changes under the hood. So this upcoming Samsung Galaxy S25 FE is going to be a lot slimmer. So they're going to slim this thing down, which I'm a big proponent of. We all know the iPhone 17 Air is going to come out next year. It's going to be a razor thin phone. I'm talking 3 to 4 millimeters thick. That's half the thickness of this phone right here. And I want to see that trend continue. We talked about how there's a specific Android manufacturer that's going to copy this stupid iPhone capture button, right? And I was saying how earlier it's like when Apple does something, everybody has to copy it. Well, with this stupid camera button, I don't want to see that copied. However, with a razor thin device, I do want to see copied. So that's what Samsung apparently is going to do with this S25 FE. And they could do it on an FE, on a model they don't sell a gazillion of, to kind of test it out, right? Because you don't want to make major changes to your absolute flagship. You don't want to jump the gun and make huge changes on your flagship device when it may not be perceived well by the potential consumers, right? You kind of want to test it out. And if they sell a gazillion of these and they're sold out online and in the stores, well, Samsung knows, okay, well, we're doing something right, so let's make this super slim model on the S25 or S26 series in the future. So a new report is suggesting that Samsung is considering a much slimmer design for the S25 FE. This device is going to feature a 6.7-inch display, and they're going to slim it down by putting in a thinner battery. Rumor has it the company could also offer it with a MediaTek CPU. So here's where you can slowly see Samsung making the change over to MediaTek CPUs. They're not going to do it drastically and change all their devices to MediaTek. It's going to be a gradual thing, right? Again, we saw them put them in their tablets. Now they're going to throw it in one of their better known and better selling phones. And then possibly S26 line, the S26 flagship model, you might see them use MediaTek a little more. We already had a report a few days ago saying that the base S25 was going to use MediaTek CPU, Dimensity 9400, and then the S25 Plus and S25 Ultra were going to use Snapdragon CPUs, right? So it's a slow, gradual change, but this upcoming S25 FE looks to be a really cool device, as long as they put a lot of RAM in there. That's the only, well, not only, but that's one of the issues I had with previous Fan Edition phones. Sluggish, very sluggish. And I got two. Not now, but in the past I had two, because I thought I had a dud or a lemon of a phone. And got another FE, same thing. So I was like, man, screw these FEs. But it looks like they're going to change it, and hopefully. And now with all these phones having to do all these AI functionalities, one of the requirements running AI on a specific device, it requires a decent amount of RAM. And it looks like we're, again, slowly moving into the day where most of these phones are all going to, at the very least, have 8 gigs. And we'll get there soon where at the very least on an Android device, you're going to start seeing 12 gigs be the base. And I think you're going to start seeing that next year. Now, I'm not talking about the A55 Samsung or, on these cheaper models. But look, this Nothing phone has 12 gigs of RAM. It was $350. So it can be done. And with, again, moving into AI, it requires a lot of RAM. And that was the issue I've had. I don't have to have the fastest CPU. I got to have a lot of RAM. And it looks like if this new S25 FE is going to be running Galaxy AI and all this, remember, this is going to be next year, in the future. So they're going to dive even more into AI functionalities. It's going to require, I'm hoping they put 12 gigs of RAM. No word yet, but got my fingers crossed. I don't think 8 gigs will do it anymore. At least not in the Android world. I don't know about this thing, but we'll have to see how that goes. Now, check this out. We're going to get to this iPhone story, but before we do that, since I held up this iPhone and since it has this stupid dedicated camera button, on Android phones, you don't really need it. All you do is you just push the power button twice real quick, boom, boom, and it opens up your camera, right? Well, it looks like Oppo is going to basically copy the quick capture button that we saw here launched on the iPhone 16 model. It's making a big comeback on smartphones this year, and more specifically with the Oppo Find X8 and X8 Pro. It is going to launch with a dedicated quick capture button. Again, we talked about Weibo yesterday and the day before with OnePlus and Qualcomm, and now you get another leak from Weibo post again. Oppo Find Series product manager Zhu Yibo explained the reasoning behind bringing the quick capture button on the company's upcoming flagship phones. The post describes pain points, quote unquote, where the Oppo executive felt the need for a fast and easy way to snap photos without using the touchscreen controls. Really? I guess he's talking about changing options when you're already inside the camera app, like changing your focal length or changing the sensor or zooming in, zooming out, or adding effects without touching your screen. I'm assuming that's what he's meaning. These included personal experiences with freezing temperatures and him wearing gloves, and a rafting trip, which made it impossible to use the touchscreen and capture shots due to the due to the water splashes and constant shaking of the raft. And while the camera control button on the iPhone 16 series features a captivative touch area, the Oppo exec also brushed over the need for a simple and uncomplicated button solely for taking photos. We'll have to see how they implement it. This is the photo from Oppo and what they posted today. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a captivative button, but we will see. I guess it all depends on where you put it, because where Apple put this dedicated button, it's not in the best spot in my opinion. In fact, I wish it wasn't even there, but it is there, so there's nothing I can do about it. But it is kind of in a weird spot. I wish it was at least 1 inch higher, because where I hold it, the button is right here on my thumb, right about here. I wish it was up 1 inch, right underneath the power button. Kind of like how they do the volume buttons on here. You got one up, one down for the volume. I wish they had the same thing on the other side, where you had a power button, and then right under that was the dedicated camera button. I know they want to separate them and keep them different. It's just located in a weird spot. It is what it is. We'll have to wait and see what Oppo brings to the table with their new captivative button, but camera button, quick shutter button, should be released here sometime soon. So I'll definitely keep y'all up to date with that. Now let's get into this main story. Very interesting iPhone stealing story. So have any of y'all had an iPhone stolen? Not from your car, or ladies, not from your purse, or maybe your back pocket. I'm talking about, have you ever ordered a phone from Apple, from Samsung, from nothing, and you're checking the delivery, right? It hasn't been delivered. Has it not? Where is it? And then it says delivered. And oh, sweet! And you go to your front door, nothing is there. Have any of y'all had that happen to you? I hope not. But that's becoming a huge issue. Not only with these companies like Apple and Samsung, but carriers as well. AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. A huge issue. And who's to blame? It's hard. It's hard to kind of pinpoint who's to blame, right? A lot of the drivers get blamed for it. The delivery drivers, that's who I initially thought takes the packages, right? They're probably delivering at least 10, 15, 20 a day right around iPhone release. Well, I have this news story here. Let me pull this up. So, a very intricate and lucrative job for these thieves. So there's a new article out on Ars Technica, nice publication. They call them porch pirates. Now, typically you hear the term porch pirate with Amazon drivers, or not Amazon drivers, excuse me, with Amazon deliveries. I don't mean to cast any aspersions on Amazon delivery drivers, pardon me. Porch pirates. They're people that follow Amazon trucks, or they drive around neighborhoods looking for Amazon packages on porches, and they will run up to the porch like you see in the picture, take the package, and run off with it and drive off, not knowing what's in the package, right? It could be a t-shirt or it could be a phone. They have no idea. Well, it seems like these thieves reworked the way that they're targeting certain deliveries. So, as you know, these iPhones are very expensive, right? I think this one retails, the one that Spectrum sent me, retails for $1,600, right? It's a 16 Pro Max, 1 terabyte. Well, they don't want to, these porch pirates don't want to come up with any duds. They don't want to come up with any t-shirts. They want to come up with iPhones because the resale on these things are insane. You can get one. So if you steal one off of a porch and you immediately put it up for sale, you're looking at, if it's $1,600 brand new, let's say they put it on sale for $1,000. That's a good deal, right? I'm sure they would sell it within a couple hours. And then probably in the following days, customer would say, hey, it says delivered, it's not there. And the phone would ultimately end up being marked as blacklisted and or lost or stolen. More specifically, lost and stolen due to an undelivered device. That's a real thing. It's such a common occurrence that these companies market lost and stolen with a side note, undelivered. That's exactly what that means. So they have not named the mob or the group behind this, but it's a very interesting article in which these thieves, so do you remember the term bad actors, right? You typically hear that with SIM swaps. Well, here's where you're going to hear a bad actor term again. So phones purchased and shipped through AT&T are being targeted now more than ever, more than Verizon, more than T-Mobile phones. There was a Wall Street Journal published, actually let's go to that was published yesterday in regards to this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, Wall Street Journal here. These thieves arrive within minutes or seconds after the delivery, grab the packages, and run. Now, this is targeting AT&T devices. These thieves know exactly what home is getting what phone, what address is getting what phone. And they're getting help through the inside, through bad actors that work inside of AT&T. So porch pirates across the country for months have been snatching FedEx packages that contain AT&T phones within minutes or even seconds of delivery. And Wall Street Journal is going to make me pay for this article. So we'll go back to Ars Technica. The key to these swift crimes, investigators say, the thieves are armed. Check this out. These thieves, these porch pirates that target AT&T iPhones, have tracking numbers. Another factor that makes packages from AT&T particularly vulnerable is that AT&T typically does not require signature on delivery. Verizon and T-Mobile require a signature on delivery of smartphones. AT&T does not. So these thieves have fine-combed through the details, and they realized, okay, AT&T does not require a signature. T-Mobile and Verizon do. So the phone is going to be sitting there on the porch. Now they're thinking, if we could only get somebody on the inside that works for AT&T to maybe get us a delivery list or tracking numbers. Guess what? That's exactly what they did. They bribe people inside, whether it's inside AT&T corporate or it's inside AT&T, the warehouses that they ship out of. Somehow, some way, they bribed people that work inside AT&T. Or, here's another big one, or the bad guys, one of the bad guys applies for a job at AT&T. This is a real thing. And then the bad guy is not going to get hired on by AT&T to support his family and to put food on the table and a roof over his head. They're getting a job at AT&T to be able to have access to all this information just for nefarious reasons, to hook his homies up with tracking numbers of all the iPhones that are going to be delivered in Houston on October the 12th. And then they basically follow a FedEx truck or they have a list of tracking numbers and a list of addresses where they're going to be delivered, and they either slowly follow the FedEx truck and keep looking at the list. Oh, okay, there's 2 houses on this next street over here that are getting iPhones. And and they may not be right behind the FedEx truck, they may be the street over. And every few minutes, kind of drive around and see if the FedEx truck is still on the street. And what do you know? One of those rounds that they take, the FedEx truck is not there. They're looking at the house. Oh, it's there. Let's go. They jump out, they grab the phone, and they take off. A police lieutenant in Deer Park, Texas, that's, I think, a suburb of Houston, I believe, said that suspects were armed with inside information, AT&T parcel tracking numbers. Deer Park police are working with AT&T to investigate how the suspects got the information, the tracking numbers, the addresses, the customer information. When contacted, AT&T spokesperson said the phone carrier uses multiple delivery companies and ship tens of thousands of phones per day without incident. That's true, but all it takes is a handful of these. It's becoming a big issue. AT&T's trying to act like it's not a big issue. It's a big issue. I deal with people that have phones stolen every day. It's a big issue right around this time of the year when these things are being delivered. Because AT&T doesn't want to be blamed, right? They don't want to be blamed for this, but they are. And just like with the SIM swaps, whenever you sign a new deal, whenever you add a new line, whenever you buy a new phone, whether you finance it, in that fine print, it says specifically they are not liable for SIM swaps. And you don't know it because they're just like, oh, sign right here. And you're like, all right, whatever. Well, you just signed away your right to essentially take them to court and sue them for your money being stolen due to a SIM swap, even though it's AT&T employees that were either bribed or got a job there just to have access to customer data. Now, AT&T said they regularly make changes to their processes. So it's a big deal. It's such a big deal, in fact, that in this article states one of these thieves flew in from out of town to Houston with a long list of tracking numbers. They arrested one guy, and he flew in from, where was it? He flew in from out of town because this is a big racket. This is a big crime ring, right? It's not just one person doing it. It's a group of people. You have a leader that's in charge of all this stuff, and then he's probably got 3 to 4 people working for him. One person that deals with bribing the person on the inside or getting the job on the inside. He's got another guy that's following and picking up iPhones that are being delivered. So one guy flew in out of town. I don't remember where from, right? It's in this article. But it's such a moneymaker. He flew in from out of town. He got a rental car and basically drove around to all these addresses that were getting iPhones delivered and snatching up iPhones off the porch. Now, I'm going to leave this article link in the description box below. But before we get out of here, here's a tip. So here's how you can protect yourself. It doesn't matter whether they're shipping it with UPS or whether they're using FedEx. So download the FedEx app. Download the UPS app. Here's what you can do. Did you know, if you're not going to be home, or even if you are home, here's what you can do to safeguard this from happening. And actually, legally, you will not be liable if you get screwed. Because a lot of the times, the people get screwed. It's not right, but here's what you do. And there will be a paper trail of this, so you are not liable, and they will have to send you another phone free of charge. So here's what you do. If, whether it's AT&T, whether it's Verizon, T-Mobile, Cricket, whoever, if they ship it FedEx, here's what you do. Download the FedEx app. Now, FedEx and Walgreens have a partnership deal. What I do is find the nearest Walgreens that's 24 hours. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. It can be any Walgreens. Any Walgreens. The one right behind me is 24 hours. But you can download the FedEx app. You can change the delivery address. Change that delivery address to your nearest Walgreens. What that will do is it will prevent porch pirates from stealing it, because here's what happens. The delivery driver will see, deliver it to this Walgreens, okay? And the delivery driver, instead of taking it to your house, will take it to Walgreens. When he drops that phone off at Walgreens, that delivery, that parcel, the receiving manager has to sign for it. So he's liable for that package immediately. And then when you come pick it up, you have to sign for it. So it's a required step. I've done it before, and I will do it in the future. So that prevents them leaving the phone on your front porch or with somebody else that's not really trustworthy. Walgreens, again, has a partnership with FedEx. Now, if I were you, since I know my my Walgreens right behind me is a FedEx partner, make sure before you change the address, just call up your Walgreens or stop by and just to make sure, hey, y'all use FedEx in here, right? Like you send and receive FedEx. Just verify with them. I know it's a company-wide thing, it's a nationwide thing, but just to cover all your bases, just check with that Walgreens before you have it delivered there. Now, that'll safeguard your delivery, your phone, and you will not be liable if it gets stolen. Same thing with UPS. You can change your address, although not to Walgreens, with UPS. Whoever you get your phone through and they ship it to you, if it's UPS, download the UPS app. You can change the delivery address, but with this change, you're going to change it to the UPS store. So most cities in America, I believe, have a UPS store. You can actually have the UPS store have your package delivered to a UPS store. I have one right over here as well. They have to sign for it. So instead of the delivery guy, UPS guy, bringing that phone to your house or just leaving it there, because look, even T-Mobile requires a signature. I can't tell you how many phones I purchased where they just leave it. They don't even ask for my signature. They're supposed to. They don't. That's why I always do this. You can change the delivery address to a UPS store. The UPS store obviously is part of UPS. They have to sign, yes, they received the package. And then when you get the notification, your phone's been delivered, go to the UPS store, all right, and say, hey, do y'all have my package? I had it delivered here. And they'll say, sure, we do. They ask you for your driver's license or identification. That's fine. And then you sign for it. All good, right? Last thing you want to do is leave it out in the open for somebody to grab. This way, have it FedEx, have it delivered to Walgreens, UPS, have it delivered to the UPS store. And everybody has to sign that the transaction was made. And when you pick it up, you got to sign for it too. So that's a little hack I've been using for years and has safeguarded me many, many, many times. So that'll do it for today, guys. I got to run. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Brian, thank you, sir. They also said, the usual suspects. They also said some of these porch pirates, because, some people, some neighbors, some residents are kind of catching on to these porch pirates. The word's been getting out. They've been doing it for so long. Here's another interesting detail. Some of these guys that are porch pirates will dress up as a Amazon delivery driver, so they don't look suspicious walking up to a front door. If you got a guy in a hoodie that looks like he's off the street jacking packages, people call the police, or it sticks out, like a sore thumb. If you see a guy, if you see a guy in a Amazon delivery getup, right, delivery clothes with a little blue vest on, you see him. We see Amazon people making deliveries all over the place. These thieves started dressing up like Amazon workers, Amazon delivery drivers. Now, they wouldn't just walk up and grab the package. They're sneaky. They would have a package in their hand. It's a fake package. It's a fake one. It doesn't have anything inside, but it is a package, so it doesn't look suspicious. So they'll go up to the door that they know a phone is at. The bad guy dressed as an Amazon delivery driver with a Amazon package. They'll go up to the door. They'll drop the package that has nothing in it and pick up the package that's at the door, that's on the porch, that has the iPhone in it, and walk back to the truck. Pretty sneaky. So just beware. Have your phones, if you're not at home, have it delivered to the UPS store or Walgreens. Damn, they're that much. Oh, I forgot, in Canada they jack the prices up, don't they? Taxes, $2,300. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, Brian says some were brazen enough to rob the package right in front of the delivery driver. Exercise your Second Amendment safeguard. Yeah, no kidding. Holy crap. I know. It's $1,000. I mean, if you look at it, it's $1,000 in that package, right? So you're gonna get some desperate people doing some desperate things, right? So, yeah, these are hot sellers, man. These, if I put this up on for sale, it would be gone in a couple hours. These are hot items, especially when they're just released. So, just be safe, play it smart. If you have any questions, whoever's watching this, if you have any questions about what you should do, please let me know in the comments. I try to check them as much as possible, at least once a day. Let me know what's going on. If you got any questions, hey, should I do this? Should I do that? Or I have experience in a lot of different aspects of technology, whether it's phone deliveries or whether it's how to unlock your phone, or should I choose this phone or that phone. If you got any questions, give me a holler. That's what I'm here for. So appreciate the time, Brian. Have a good weekend. Daniel, you too, brother. I really appreciate everything. And Leah, yeah, I know. I've watched Insidious a couple times. Yes, I am familiar with that. iPhone refresh rate scandal. They have been throttling 120 hertz to 80 hertz 95% of the time. Been going on for 4 years. Apple won't acknowledge this mess. I agree. I've seen all those videos you have on Twitter. That's where I first noticed it a few weeks ago, and they're still up there. So I know, I'm aware of it. That's why I haven't used an iPhone in like 5 years. I picked this up today, and I was like, damn, this thing is slow. I was like, my Galaxy, my Pixel, just freaking snappy as hell, blazing fast. It's almost so fast I can't even keep up with it. This one, nice, smooth, slow animations. I'm like, come on, man, we need the snappiness. Yeah, they're only running at 80 hertz for a majority of the time. I think they only do 120 very, very only. I can't remember. I have to, maybe we'll dive into that tomorrow. The refresh rate scandal. In fact, let's do that. Damn it! Since I got this new iPhone here, let's jump in to the refresh rate scandal. So DeFi Ramsey, come back tomorrow. We will discuss the refresh rate scandal tomorrow. How about that? I'm gonna need a little more time with this tonight. Plus, I think to get the refresh rate on the display, don't you have to be a developer? Maybe. May have to make a developer account, but we'll get into it tomorrow. I'll look into it tonight and get into it tomorrow. I was going to do a giveaway today, and I was so freaking busy, I totally forgot about it. Let's try and do it tomorrow. I'll put a community post out tomorrow morning, way before the live stream, and let you know if we're going to have a giveaway day or not. But I think we should. And please let me know. Comment in the video if you're an iPhone 16 Pro user. I got some cases here that I'm needing to get rid of. Anyways, let me get out of here. eSIM Studios podcast live stream episode number 215. Thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. Please enjoy your afternoon, and everything else above all, please be safe out there. It's a crazy world. And as always, see you tomorrow. Peace.